Well, bimblers, I might not be out on my bike for a few weeks. Fractured my finger, amongst other things. I was riding to work down past Central Station in Warrington, and someone opened the car door, and I went flying into it, boob first. I then proceeded to hit the floor, going from around 10 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour, and I broke my glasses. And it was a good job I was wearing a helmet, because my head hit the tarmac pretty hard. Unfortunately, my finger wasn't wearing a helmet, and that bust open, busted the nail on top, and fractured the finger at the tip, which for most people would be inconvenient, but for someone who works as a guitar teacher like I do, it's very inconvenient and a little bit worrying. The lady that opened the car door was obviously very apologetic. She helped me pick up my bits of my broken glasses and move Saracen out of the middle of the road. You'll be glad to know that Saracen came out of it completely unscathed. Fortunately, he's made out of steel, but I'm just made out of flesh and bones. A very kind shop owner came out with a plaster to deal with the cut on my nose, but I was more worried about my finger. I still had my glove on, but I could feel that my finger was cold and it was a little bit wet. And when I took my glove off, I seen the extent of the damage of my finger. So that same shopkeeper brought me out a bottle of water to wash out the wound. I was a little bit winded, obviously, and it took me a while to realise that I wasn't actually wearing my glasses. I hadn't realised that they'd broken. I just thought my vision was a bit fuzzy from being hit by a car, or hitting a car as it should be. So Papa Bimble had to come and pick me up in his Toyota, and we made a pit stop at my house to pick up my spare glasses that I'm wearing now. I wasn't going to sit in A&E for all that time without glasses on. You know, I had things to do. Looking at my phone, planning bimbles. Well, I think they might be leg bimbles now. I was seen within about 40 minutes, and I was sent to have an x-ray. And then I waited round for another 40 minutes, and they brought me into a room to tell me about the x-ray. And it turned out that I'd fractured the end of my finger, hence the big bandage. I'd also damaged the nail and needed stitches in my finger, which meant that they needed to take the nail out for a bit to do the stitches and then put the nail back in, which was a gruesome thought, and not made any better by the doctor showing me the nail and saying, "I'm going to put this back in now." Obviously I had Novocaine injected into my hand, so I couldn't feel any of this going on, but because the NHS is the way it is, wasn't really in the correct room to have it all done. It was quite a sorry tale, really. I was given painkillers, was put on cocodamol, and I was also given antibiotics because I might get an infection in my finger. And it means that I can't go swimming every morning like I usually do, because if I get an infection in my finger and it goes into the bone, I'll have to have my finger removed, and that makes playing guitar very difficult. But it also means that I probably shouldn't ride my bike for a few weeks, at least until the stitches come out, because I don't want to burst them going over speed bumps and things. So you'll have to forgive me, but we'll be having some leg bimbles. But I promise we'll go to some interesting places anyway. So what should you take from this? Well, first off, the NHS is vastly underfunded. We need it, and we need money invested in it. We don't need it to be privatised. We just need that money that they promised us from the EU to be invested. You know, that £350 million we were supposed to get for leaving the EU, which doesn't seem to have gone to the NHS just yet. I try not to get political, but we all know who the bosses are and who's running the show. The second point that you should take away from this is wear a helmet. The only reason my head doesn't look like my finger is because I was wearing a helmet. My head hit the tarmac at the same velocity that my finger hit the tarmac, and my finger doesn't wear a helmet, and it got fractured and it bust open. My head, however, had a helmet on, and it hit the tarmac and just bounced rather nicely. So don't think that you look uncool with your helmet on, or that it messes up your hair. It literally will save your life. Wear a helmet.